Living successfully, achieving the things we truly want from life, is never about luck. It's about solving the problems that stand between where we are right now and the place we dream of reaching. I want to suggest a plan, one that requires only 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, to strengthen and sharpen the most powerful tool you already own, your mind. Think about it. If you wanted to build the muscles of your body, you'd commit to regular exercise. The mind is developed in exactly the same way, except the return on this investment is far beyond anything you can imagine. For a small fraction of your time, the results can be life-changing. I've used this approach for years, and I can tell you, it has given me some of the most rewarding and satisfying experiences of my entire life. And what does it cost? Just 5 hours out of the 168 hours in your week. 5 hours to dig into a vein of pure gold, because that's what your mind is. A treasure chest with infinite potential, waiting to be tapped. So here's the beginning step. Choose 1 hour each day that you can count on. Guard it, protect it. Then during this hour, take out a blank sheet of paper. At the very top, write down your primary goal, clearly and simply. This will be your starting point for everything that follows. Unlocking hidden potential. Everything you enjoy today, your work, your family, your relationships, even your outlook on life, has come to you because of one thing: the way you've used your mind. And yet, experts suggest that most of us operate on less than 10% of our true capacity. Some psychologists and researchers go even further, estimating that it may be closer to 5% or even less. Think about that for a moment. Imagine what would happen if you could double that figure. If everything you have right now is the result of only a fraction of your abilities, what could your life look like if you tapped into just 15% or 20%? Researchers at the UCLA Brain Institute have gone so far as to say the creative potential of the human brain is, for all practical purposes, infinite. In other words, we've only scratched the surface of what we're capable of becoming. Consider the words of a Soviet scholar who once pointed out that if a person could engage even half of their brain's capacity, they could easily learn dozens of languages, memorize entire encyclopedias, and complete multiple university degrees without difficulty. That may sound exaggerated, but it reflects the accepted understanding of just how enormous the mind's untapped power truly is. Those who live close to their potential, who continuously stretch their thinking, experience something profound: energy, creativity, and a strong sense of purpose. They don't see themselves as drifting through life. They see themselves as building it. Your mind, whether you're 17 or 70, is an undiscovered gold mine, and the difference between where you are and where you want to be is simply learning how to use more of it. Problems, the real measure of success. Your goals live in the future. Your task is to bridge the gap between where you stand right now and where you want to be. That gap is filled with problems, challenges that must be solved. Dr. Robert Seashore, former chairman of the Department of Psychology at Northwestern University, once observed that successful people are not those without problems. Instead, they are people who have learned how to solve them. That's the real secret. But here's the issue. Most of us waste far too much energy worrying about the wrong problems. Studies have shown that 40% of what we worry about never even happens. 30% is about the past, which cannot be changed by any amount of worry. 12% are needless concerns about our health. 10% are trivial, petty worries. Only 8% are real, legitimate problems. Now, of that small 8%, there are two types: problems we can solve and problems that are beyond our control. And the majority of real challenges we face usually fall into the first category. They can be solved if we develop the ability to approach them correctly. The key to living successfully, then, is not in wishing for a life without problems. That's impossible. It's in strengthening our ability to handle them, because each problem solved is a step closer to your goal, and each solution makes you stronger, more confident, and more capable than before. The power of the human mind. What is the mind, really? No one can define it completely. Perhaps the best way to understand it is to say this: the only thing that truly makes us human is our mind. Everything else, our bodies, our instincts, can be found in animals, but the mind is unique. It is the one tool that separates us from every other creature on Earth. And consider what it has accomplished. Human knowledge has advanced more in the last 50 years than in all the thousands of years before. It's estimated that of all the scientists who have ever lived, 90% are alive right now. We've entered an era of compounding progress, each discovery giving birth to another, so quickly that even the boldest forecasts of the past now seem small and unimaginative. Dr. Harlow Shapley of Harvard once said we are entering a completely new era, one he called the Psychozoic Age, the age of the mind. And you already own one of the most powerful examples of it, free and clear. Here's another striking fact. If you calculate the average person's yearly hours, you'll find they have almost 6,000 waking hours. Only about 2,000 of those are spent on the job. That leaves nearly 4,000 hours of free discretionary time in which most people are doing little more than coasting. This means that even if you commit just 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, you will still have 3,740 hours left each year to use as you please. And yet, that single focused hour, if used wisely, can completely transform your future. The 1 hour formula, how to exercise your mind. So, how do you actually begin using more of your mind's potential? The answer is surprisingly simple. Devote 1 hour a day, 5 days a week to focused mental exercise. Choose an hour you can rely on, morning, evening, or whenever works best, and guard it. During this hour, take a blank sheet of paper. At the very top, write down your primary goal in clear, simple words. Then, fill the page with ideas, at least 20 if you can, for ways to improve what you do each day and how you can move closer to your goal. This won't be easy at first. Your mind may resist. It's not used to being stretched in this way. Many of the ideas will seem weak or even foolish. But that's not the point. Out of those 20 ideas, 1 or 2 will be useful, sometimes life-changing, and the very act of forcing your mind to search for solutions engraves your goal deeply into your subconscious. Now think of the numbers. 20 ideas a day adds up to 100 new ideas every week. Even if most are discarded, the few that remain could revolutionize your work and your life. 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, equals 260 hours a year. That's the same as 6.5 extra working weeks, weeks spent not on routine labor, but on thinking, planning, and improving. The result? You rise above the so-called competition almost effortlessly. Because while most people spend their free hours worrying, drifting, or entertaining themselves, you're digging into a gold mine within yourself, your own mind. The rewards of mental discipline. Something remarkable happens once you begin this daily habit. When you dedicate an hour each day to focused thinking, you awaken a force inside yourself that few ever truly experience. You may think the benefits end when the clock runs out, but the truth is, your mind doesn't switch off when the session ends. Instead, it continues working quietly in the background, turning over ideas, connecting thoughts, and searching for solutions. And often, at the most unexpected moments, while you're driving, speaking with a friend, or even waking in the middle of the night, a powerful idea will suddenly appear. And when it does, capture it. Write it down immediately. Because sometimes just one idea is enough to transform your career, your income, your relationships, and even the entire direction of your life. You already know that consistent physical exercise strengthens and develops the body. 5 hours a week in the gym can reshape your health and fitness, but with the mind, the return is far greater, out of all proportion to the time invested. A single idea that springs from disciplined thinking can be worth more than years of routine effort. One spark of insight, acted upon, has built companies, created fortunes, healed relationships, and changed lives forever. I know this system works because I've practiced it myself for many years, and I can tell you with complete honesty, it has given me some of the most rewarding, gratifying, and astonishing experiences of my life. The cost? Just 5 hours a week, 5 hours out of the 168 that every person is given. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Without question. It is the best trade you will ever make. It is like spending 5 hours a week digging into a vein of solid gold, except the gold you're mining lies within yourself. And unlike gold in the ground, your mind's supply is limitless. The deeper you dig, the more you will discover. Each time you sit down with that blank sheet of paper, each time you write your goal at the top and fill the page with ideas, you're doing more than solving problems. You are training yourself to approach life with faith rather than fear. Instead of seeing your goal as a burden or an obstacle, you begin to see it as something waiting patiently for you to claim it. A challenge designed not to defeat you, but to shape you into the person who is worthy of it. This shift in perspective is life-changing. Most people face their problems with worry and doubt. They say to themselves, "What if I fail? What if I can't?" And so they give up before they begin. But when you approach your goal with confidence, when you bend the full power of your mind toward it, with faith that the solution is waiting, you unlock a resource far greater than willpower. You tap into the creative machinery of the subconscious, and once that machinery begins working, it will not stop until the answer is found. This is why the habit of daily mental exercise is so powerful. It engraves your goal deeply into your subconscious, which then begins working 24 hours a day, while you're awake, while you sleep, and even while you dream. And the more you return to it, the clearer the path becomes. Obstacles that once seemed impossible begin to look smaller, and solutions that once seemed hidden suddenly appear right in front of you. So let me remind you again, the rewards of mental discipline are beyond calculation. For just 5 hours a week, you gain clarity of thought, the ability to generate powerful ideas, the confidence to face problems head-on, and the joy of watching your life move steadily toward the future you've imagined. No other investment of your time will pay you greater dividends. Each goal you write, each idea you capture, each solution you test, it all compounds, building upon itself, drawing you closer and closer to the life you want. And when you look back, you'll realize that this one simple habit, the decision to think deliberately each day, was the turning point that changed everything. Because when you learn to discipline your mind, when you learn to treat it as the gold mine it is, there is no problem too large, no dream too distant, and no goal beyond your reach. Let's pull the pieces into one clear picture. Set aside just one focused hour each day for deliberate thought, an hour devoted entirely to thinking, planning, and generating ideas. Push yourself to come up with 20 new ideas each time. Most of them won't be usable, but that doesn't matter, because among them, one or two will shine with real potential, and those few ideas can completely change the course of your life. Remember the numbers. Everything you now have, your work, your relationships, your habits, your outlook, has come as the result of using perhaps only 5 to 10% of your mind's true abilities. Now imagine what your life could become if you raised that figure to even 15 or 20%. The difference would be staggering. Understand the real truth about success. It is not freedom from problems. Everyone has them. The difference is that successful people have learned to approach their problems with courage and creativity. They use each obstacle as a stepping stone to climb higher, and with each problem solved, they grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Stop wasting your energy on needless worries. The majority of what people fret about never happens. Much of it is about the past, which no amount of worrying can change. Another portion is about things that don't matter at all. Only a tiny fraction of your concerns are truly real, and most of those can be solved if you apply your mind correctly. The sooner you release the pointless worries, the more energy you free up for what matters. Your entire future depends on one thing, the creative and disciplined use of your own mind. It is the only vehicle that can take you from where you are to where you want to be. No one else can do it for you. No tool, no shortcut, no luck will substitute for your own thinking. Deep within you lies a vast reservoir of ability, greater than you've ever imagined. Hidden in that reservoir is a spark of genius waiting to be uncovered. And when you learn to tap into it, when you dare to think deeply and act boldly on your ideas, there is no limit to what you can achieve. That is the true miracle of your mind.